But hey, Danny, let's do some tactic talk.
Tactic talk.
Some big boss combos.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
Man, I got some music. Dude, do I have some BBC for you?
So we talked earlier about how... no, I have to cut this too. We talked earlier about how the Necron Codex is out, and now instead of one build that either completely wrecked face or only did one shot to something, there's now several different viable builds depending on the style of play for the Necron army. And Danny has 3 different builds.
What?
Fingers crossed. From the new Necron Codex.
Oh man, I hope they're actually different enough.
The difference is instead of like 3 blocks of 20 warriors, it's 2 blocks of 30. But yeah, why don't you take us through some builds from the new book?
Yeah, sure. Okay, that's no problem. Because I've been building lists like a fiend. So I would say I build a list like at least, I don't know, I'd say I build like 3 lists a day probably. Like that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Sure.
But I kind of
don't send me any Death Guard lists or Khorne Demon lists.
I don't have time for that shit. I don't build shitty Chaos armies. Jesus.
It's fair.
There's basically kind of 2 different archetypes that I've been looking at, and then kind of an in-between more balanced list.
Okay, so let's try the centrist list first.
Okay.
Like the balance.
So this is good because this is the list I'm going to bring against you this weekend, John, when we play.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, are you writing this down?
No.
I literally sent this to you in a text message, so you can, like, if you want to, you can just
my follow-up questions will be many and numerous.
Okay.
Let's go. Okay.
All right, so I'm taking an Overlord. Okay, first of all, I'd just like to say, right now I'm building all of my lists as just Nihilak, because I like OBSEC, obviously, on all my shit.
Sure.
Yep, and the double protocol is pretty good when you get it. It's actually, it's okay. It's fine. But I also like their stratagem quite a bit, and their stratagem is for 1 command point, an infantry unit can do an action and still shoot.
Which is really good.
It's very good. Especially when you don't want to waste a whole unit of 20 warriors doing something.
And then you look at a lot of the mission-based secondaries on that GT pack, a lot of them are actions.
Yep. Exactly. Alright, so I've got an Overlord. He's got the Relic Resurrection Orb, which is a relic that I quite like. I think it's pretty good. It's one of the only ways to get a 4+ reanimation. And then you get to do it on a whole unit, and they don't have to be core. They can be anything. So you just pick a unit, whatever's dead in it, you get to roll reanimation dice for it, and whatever comes back on 4s instead of 5s, which is great. And then I've got 2 Technomancers, both with Canoptic control nodes. One of them has the failsafe override, which gives a Canoptic unit within 6 inches +1 attack, or if it's a monster, plus D3 attacks. And then I also paid command points for a warlord trait for him called Thrall of the Silent King. And so what this does is it gives him +3 inches to the range of his auras and some of his abilities. So now he gives a 9-inch bubble of +1 to hit for all my Canoptic units, and a 9-inch bubble for the failsafe generator.
That's pretty good.
Which is pretty great.
I mean, I know for my list I'm trying to find a way to fit in like the relics to do like the extra 3 inches, but everything I want to take it on already has another relic.
I know. And God, you're just praying for those 3 inches. I know you are.
Hell yeah. It's almost average.
Every day. So, and then my last Cryptek... I'm sorry. My bad. The one with the Thrall of the Silent King does in fact not have the +3 inches to auras. I gave that to the other one with the Canoptic control node. And he hangs back with the Doomstalkers. And the reason that I did this is so that I can spread out the Doomstalkers further, because he has a 9-inch aura from either side of him. And then I gave him the Prismatic Obstrification, which is it's the old character targeting rules, basically. So unless he's the closest target, you can't shoot at him at all.
Mm-hmm.
So that I can spread him out without having to keep him within 3 inches of another unit. And you can't shoot at him, which is great.
Right, especially because he's buffing those 3 big guns on his bros.
Exactly. And rules that ignore Lookout Sir, which is pretty much all the sniper rules, they don't get to ignore that, so they can't snipe him either, which is great. So then I have the other one with the Canoptic control node and the failsafe generator. I paid a point to give him the Voltaic staff because that's like the best shooting route. It's so good. It's a staff of light that's an extra damage for both close combat and shooting, and it has Tesla. So any 6s you roll to hit count as 2 extra hits, and it has an extra shot. So it's like strength. It's like 4 strength 6 shots that Tesla. It's great. Anyway, so those are my characters. Then I've got a unit of let's see, 2 units of 20 2 units of 20 warriors, 1 unit of 5 immortals. 5 immortals just to get that extra troop choice so I can fulfill a battalion. Then I have 1 unit of 3 canoptic spiders. 1 gloom prism, and then they all have the particle blasters or particle beamers. I forget what the name of that one is. But that unit throws out like 36 shots at strength 5 with no AP, but it's still just shots that you get, and you can advance it. Yeah, they're all assault weapons, so you can advance and fire on them. They're great. And they get +1 to hit from the crypt tech being close to them as well for shooting. So that's good. So they hit on 3s or 4s if they advance. And then I've got 3 units of 9 Scarabs. You'll find that this is a pretty standard choice for me. I really like to take 27 Scarabs. I think that that's one of the best choices in the book.
What makes them so good?
Well, so they get OBSEC from their Dynasty trait. And they are 4 wounds apiece. They get reanimate, so potentially if you kill several of them in one go, there's a chance I could bring one back. If you kill 3 of them, chances are I bring one back, which is rad. Especially for a model with 4 wounds. So it's like... and they're 15 points a base. So for 15 points, you get 4 wounds. It's like the cheapest wound in the game almost, or pretty close to it. So for like a little over 400 points, I get over 100 wounds worth of models, which is great. And they're fast. They move 10 inches and they have fly, so you can't even trap them or anything like. I mean, I could just go on and on.
Could you rename it to Danny's like Scarab Love song?
Danny's Scarab Love Quest. That's a different thing. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
And then I've got 3 Canoptic Doomstalkers as my heavy support choices, and so those hang out and blow stuff up that's dangerous. So the way this army plays is it kind of plays a board control game. It goes and just tries to hold objectives and tries to kick you off of them. So that's how that list works.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't kill a ton, but it's tough enough to survive.
What do you think it's going to struggle against? Or kind of where do you see kind of the struggles for a list like this? Because you're going like super board control.
Yeah.
You do have like a lot of stuff 50-50 chance of getting back up. You have some solid heavy support from those Doomstalkers. And in a way that's buffed that you have to really focus down and make a plan to take down that cryptic because you can't just shoot him.
Right, you got to kind of go after them with like a
yeah, so you have to like give something to give that up. So there's a lot of positives there. What worries you?
Let's see here. I would say armies that are like board control but want to hold the middle that are close combat armies might be tough. Because they could just dice through all the wounds that I have. Because I have like 150 wounds worth of just like objective secured, like trying to go for the center of the table, like control the center of the table. I think that could be problematic. I think just an army that can really shoot well would be hard to deal with. So like a knight army might be kind of tough because I don't have a ton of recourse against knights, especially if they kill the spiders and the Doomstalkers. Those are kind of the 2 things that I have against big stuff. Because the spiders throw out like usually about 7 attacks each, hitting on 3s, and their strength 8 -3, 2 flat damage. So I mean they'll kill stuff, like, and they'll beat stuff up in close combat. But I mean, it's not ideal. Yeah, so I think those kinds of armies could be difficult. But I think that I can play around it if I play better than them. I know that's like kind of a...
Okay, good.
Yeah.
This is general advice.
Yep.
So this is kind of our middle of the road lister thing is going to be really good, where we're talking about board control, resiliency, and kind of some like little tricks to keep things buffed. What else have you got? Like if we go to kind of the other end of the spectrum there.
So the other end of the spectrum that I have is pure horde.
And I want 120 wounds worth of models is not pure horde.
No.
No. Okay, so what grossness have you got for pure horde Necrons?
So let's see. So my pure horde Necrons is instead of the 2 units of 20 warriors, it's 3 units of 20 warriors.
Cool.
But also 40 flayed ones.
I love those so much. Oh my gosh.
And the 27 Scarab bases.
Yeah. Can I just point out real quick, when someone said online, like, they didn't understand why flayed ones weren't core, And my response was like, you don't know why, like, insane robots who listen to no one wouldn't listen to someone.
I know, it's shocking, right?
Shocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's 100 models right off the bat.
Yep.
Of just very easy to reanimate warriors and those flayed ones.
And the flayed ones are the exact same defenses-wise as the warriors are. And so this drops one of the Technomancers for a Chronomancer, because they're really good at that stuff, and then also a Psychomancer. Mm-hmm. So I have 3 Cryptechs and an Overlord are my HQs. And that's basically it. So it's like 60 warriors, 40 Cryptechs, 27 Scarab bases.
40 flayed ones.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 60 warriors, 40 flayed ones. What did I say?
Cryptechs.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
Just
let me
4.
see that 4 sword chart.
Just 4. There's no more Supreme Command guys. Sorry. I got confused for a second. Yeah, so it's like 100 one-wound models plus 27 Scarab bases, and it just like kind of eats itself up the table, and it's like, okay, I count for double for objective secured with the warriors. All my flayed ones are. If you want to come take it, I'm going to charge you with flayed ones, and flayed ones actually do good damage. Mm-hmm. Like, they're pretty solid. And yeah, sometimes I'll even kill stuff with the warriors and shooting and that kind of thing.
Fingers crossed. Now, so where does this one struggle? Where obviously, again, you're looking at a board presence list. You're looking at mass objective secured, where each body kind of counts for 2. You're not necessarily killy on this list, mm-hmm. But it's just kind of very hard to deal with over the kind of the length of time of the game. So what are some kind of struggles you see with a list like this?
So the struggles that I see with this list are going to be where your opponent actually has a unit that can kill your entire army. Oh, because there are things like Deathwing Knights.
Yeah. Very fair, balanced Deathwing Knights.
Because 30 attacks that hit on 2s and wound on 2s will probably kill a bunch of Necron warriors, to be honest. Thank you. You're right.
Welcome. Yeah. So that kind of big attacks like that there.
And then I probably won't be able to do enough damage back to them to make it count, I guess. Mm-hmm. Would be my worry. Although I think flayed ones probably do okay into that if you have some way to get some extra AP, which you can do a couple of different ways in that book. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so there's that.
Okay, and then the other side. So we've gone for medium.
Are you ready for Stompy?
Mass Horde.
Yeah.
You got a Monster Mash Necron list too?
So in this one I'm really interested in playing. I really want to try this one out. So we're going to start with my baseline, 27 Scarabs.
Of course.
Because
did your last list have 27 Scarabs too?
Yeah.
Okay,
it has 100 infantry and 27 Scarabs.
Okay, so let's just assume that all Necron lists as a base should have 27 Scarabs.
I don't know if they all should, but all mine do. So yeah. I think they're... If you're not going to take 27, you should take 15.
Yeah.
Or if you need to take extra fast attacks, just take an Outrider. Don't be a bitch. Just take an Outrider, pay the command points, you're going to want the Scarabs.
The HQs are good enough, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine. So this list is the core detachment is a super heavy detachment.
Cool.
So the super heavy detachment has the Silent King.
Okay.
And then 2 monoliths.
So this is your pay-to-win one, because that's already $600.
No, it's not. It's like $500 worth of... It's $490 retail. And I definitely am not paying retail. So 2 monoliths, the Silent King, and I made them Nihilak, the Detachment Nihilak, because you can do that because the Silent King as a dynastic agent doesn't count against you.
Right.
So you still get to take objective secured monoliths.
Which is great because they're now like 28 wounds or whatever it is.
24. But yeah, you're right.
2-up save.
Yep.
A very large footprint with fly.
Hell yes. Son.
Yeah.
And then I have an Outrider.
Okay.
So keep in mind I'm spending 9 command points on detachments with this list. But I get 3 back for the Silent King, so really I have 6. And 6 is okay. Mm-hmm. So my Outrider is the 27 Scarabs.
Sure.
And then I have 20 Warriors as well. And then 2 Chronomancers.
Okay.
And the Chronomancers are there to give the monoliths a 5+ invulnerable save. Actually, no. It was a toss-up. So it can be 2 Chronomancers or 1 Chronomancer and 1 Cryptech with a Canoptic Cloak. so he can repair one of the monoliths D3 damage every turn. Like
So
just fly around him. And
You would
repair
have
him.
like one giving one an invulnerable, and then the other repairing the other, and kind of maybe switching.
Sure.
Or depending on.
Or depending on if one was critical, it could be both of them on that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that list wins the game by blowing your opponent off the table, and just kind of like it's board control, but it's also has a ton of damage output. And like you have to deal with the monoliths and the Silent King. You don't get to pick between the two of those because they do enough damage that you can't really ignore them.
Right.
I feel like.
So where does this list struggle?
I think this list struggles against armies that are better at board control than you are. Just like if they have, or they have a ton of anti-tank. Like I could see this being an issue if your opponent took like 15 Eradicators. That being said, I've done the math on this, and even if I start the monoliths within range of the Eradicators, which I definitely don't have to. And they for their double shot. Like I don't care if they advance and shoot me. That's like they're not gonna do dick. But
It's real good.
yeah. So like average two squads or a squad of Eradicators does about 10 damage to a monolith if they move up and shoot at long range. Not when they're when they're close, it's a whole different thing. But when they're at long range, they're doing that much damage, and that's not great. No. Like 10 damage is not that much because the monolith is going to heal one on its turn, and then I'm going to maybe heal it another D3.
Maybe you're going to save one of those as well, and then
yeah. Well, so I took that in. So the nice thing is like first turn and second turn actually, if I want to, I can use because the Silent King's my Warlord, so I can reuse the same stratagem, right? For the same protocol. So I can use the protocol that gives me cover if I don't move. So if I go second, I can choose to use the cover. I can do cover and then cover. So like I'm going to get 2 rounds of cover and a monolith with a 1+ armor save. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Like turns out that's pretty good. And like I'm getting 4+ save versus -3 AP or a 5+ save against other stuff. So I don't even have to Chronomancer those to get a 5+ save, more or less, against -4 AP. Now, when they're in Insult Doctrine, then that's when I'm going to want to give them the invulnerable save for sure. Anyway, but you can kind of play around them. There's a lot of cool stratagems to like teleport warriors out of strategic reserve to a monolith and just have them like pop out and they can act like normal, so they can blow something, or not act like normal, but they can come out and blow something away that's close to it or something like that.
Or can they be teleported, come out, blow something away, and still do an action?
Yes.
Because of your stupidness. The Nihilak.
Because that's how they roll, dude. Monoliths are cool in so many ways. Like, yeah, they can shoot into combat, and that's really neat. But since they're a Titanic unit, they can also fall back and still shoot. Because that's one of the rules that Titanic units have. So, which is awesome. I'm happy the monolith has something going for it for sure. And then you also have to worry about the Silent King, who will absolutely kill your army if you let him. Like, he's a one-man wrecking ball, and he can kill 2 squads a turn probably pretty easily. So, yeah. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to the monoliths, or pay attention to the scoring units. Your choice.
Well, you awful GW shill 3 different army lists, all containing all of the different new models. Like you have...
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, you have like your Dual Monolith Silent King one, your Flayed one, you have your Doomstalker one.
Yep.
But like a lot of different ways to play Necrons. And if you guys, like, I should maybe try and put the army list or something up back there. We'll definitely post these lists. Let us know what you're going to play too. It's a whole new scary world of robot killer things going out there. It's a weird Necron world. We'll be right back, maybe.
You've mastered the art of the Stanley. You've downloaded the ITC Battles app. You've loaded your dice to guarantee your charge. Now perfect your game with Mob Rules measuring accessories. Made of the finest acrylic and carrying the skill of the Danny, the tactics of the Dave, and something positive about John. Get yours now at hammerheadgames.net.